So this sweater may or may not be a little bit of a hint of one of the games that is in this video. May or may not. We'll never know. Actually, you will know because you're gonna watch this video. Hopefully, you're gonna watch this video and you'll find out. Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to the 4th episode in the Cream of the Crop series, or basically my top 100 games of all time. This is the first time that I'm doing my top 100 games of all time. I did my top 10 games of all time back in 2021 over on my other YouTube channel, which is Jen Rose, and then I did my top 20 with Francis in 2022. I believe that's when we did it. And then I didn't do anything in 2023. It's been a bit since I've done a ranking, and I have played so many amazing games within this past 2 years that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a top 100. I feel like it'll be a lot of fun, and I love watching top 100 games of all time. So that is why I decided to just jump into a top 100 games, if you guys are wondering, after watching 3 episodes. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Also hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And also comment down below. I've been loving chatting with you guys down in the comments of this series, all about the games that I talk about and some of your favorites, different things like that. So yeah, definitely leave a comment down below. But yeah, let's get into this 10. We are going through number 70 to 61. So let's get into it, shall we? All right, so starting off with my number 70. This game is very, not nostalgic. I guess it's a little bit nostalgic to me because it's a game that I've had in the collection for a while. It's been one that I've always chatted about here on the channel because I feel like it's a game that is absolutely amazing and doesn't get enough attention. But I think that's because it's from a publisher that is typically known for kids games, and this one is not a kids game. It can be played by kids, but I feel like it's such a wonderful like polyomino style game that more people in the like hobby need to play it. So the game that I'm talking about is Miyabi. Miyabi is one of my favorite polyomino games. It is number 70 here on the list, and it is a very interesting polyomino game because you are drafting these polyomino tiles, and each of them are going to be just green. You're creating basically like a Zen garden. So you have like the trees and the pagodas, and I think they're called pagodas, or pergola maybe. But you have those, you have stones, you have bushes, you have like plants or like flowers, as well as koi ponds, different things like that. So each of the polyomino shapes is going to be green, and then it has one of those or a few of those kind of icons on them. So depending on how many of an icon there is, so there might be 3 koi fish, you're going to be gaining victory points based off of that. And also it's kind of a little bit like Sudoku in a way, which I absolutely love. But basically icons can only, or specific icons can only be placed in specific rows. So the bottom row is always going to be all the rocks. And then I believe it's the bushes, then the flowers, then the koi ponds, then the pagodas, then the trees. Can you tell that I've played this a lot? So you have like the different rows that are going to be just the icons, and then the columns. Each round, you're only going to be able to place one of those polyomino shapes in one of those columns. So once you've placed one of those shapes in that column, you're going to like put one of your little like, I forget what they're called, but they're like little structures. You're going to put it down or put it up to denote that you've already placed a polyomino piece in that column. The polyomino piece doesn't have to itself be in that column, but the icon on the polyomino piece has to be in that column, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then you're also like stacking or layering these tiles, and it's just this wonderful puzzle of drafting those tiles and trying to get the most points possible. The more that you layer them, the more multiplying of the victory points you're gonna get. So if I layered a 3-point tile on the 3rd level, it'd be 3 times 3, so I'd gain 9 victory points, which is awesome. But yeah, Miyabi is wonderful. Like I said at the beginning of this, I feel like it's a game that doesn't get enough attention. And I feel like it's a wonderful polyomino game. If you guys like polyomino games, I definitely recommend checking it out because it is absolutely wonderful. I do think that if it had a solo mode, which granted I haven't checked if there is a fan solo mode, but if it had a solo mode and I played a solo mode of this, it'd probably go up. But yeah, that is my number 70. That is Miyabi. Moving on to number 69. This one is actually quite a surprise to me because I do believe that this was in my top 10 in 2022. But we just haven't been able to play this game much, and so that's kind of why it's been going down. And I also have just played so many amazing games over these past 2 years that sometimes these games that were really high for me have just dropped a little bit due to other games that I liked more coming out. So yes, number 69 is it's actually very sad to me because I absolutely love this game and I need to play this game more. I also need to play it solo because I still haven't played it solo, but I love the theme of it. I love the art in this. I love the quirkiness of this game, and I love the gameplay of this game. So the game that I'm talking about is Seize the Bean. I know, I love this game so much, but unfortunately it has dropped quite a bit just because we haven't been able to get it to the table. So yeah, I will also mention that with this one, there is a lot of like small rules, which tend to be a little bit annoying for some people. It's not for me because I just really enjoy this game, but from some people that I've taught this game to, there's just a lot of rules and a lot of like small little rules to keep in mind, especially as you like bring in the different customers, because every customer group is going to have a different rule set. So depending on the ones that you bring in, there's going to be more rules that you have to learn. So that is one thing that I will say I understand about the game, but I love Seize the Bean so much. If you guys have never heard of it before, it is a game where you are the owners of a cafe and you are building out this cafe to appeal to certain customer groups. So there are like the hipsters, there's the bikers, there's the rich people, there's just a bunch of different customer groups, the like health nuts and all of those things. So each of the customer groups is going to have a little bit of a different way of playing. It's a little bit of a deck builder as well as some worker placement. The resources in this game are absolutely amazing. If you get like the upgraded ones, actually not even the upgraded ones, because just the ones that come in like this version are amazing. You have like the coffee beans and the sugar cubes and the little milk cartons, and you can also get additional like upgraded resources for all of the different like food items that the people can get. So there's like little pieces of cake and donuts and a bunch of different things like that, which I absolutely love and I'm obsessed with. But yes, it's a wonderful worker placement deck building game. You have like your own worker placement on your own board, and as you build up the customers are the deck building part, but then you can also buy these cards or draft these cards from a market, and you're going to be adding those cards to the side of your board, and that's going to actually grow each of your worker placement spots. So as like on your personal board, as a player, you are kind of building out your own worker placement spots and the actions that go along with those worker placement spots, which I absolutely love. And the certain things that you add to your cafe are going to bring in those certain customers, and it's just so fun. And I do need to play this game again. I do think that a lot of what goes into like a top 100 is just games that you definitely have just been playing more often, more recently. I definitely think that's something that happens a lot with these, and just Seize the Bean has not gotten to the table in a while. So I do think that's why it's dropped a little bit. But, you know, in the future, who knows? It could go back up. It could go down even more. We'll never know. We might know in the future if I do a top 100 games of all time again, which I will probably do this yearly or every other year. So yeah. For now, that is where Seize the Bean is. It is my number 69. All right, moving into number 68. I am not really looking forward to picking this game up. This is a big box, and this is a game that you guys might already know I was talking about in this video. I wonder what it is. But my number 68 is, boom, Moonrakers. Oh, Bet you didn't see that coming. Moonrakers is my number 68. This is a fantastic deck building. It's like a very interesting game because there's deck building, there's a little bit of tableau building, there is negotiation, which I never thought that I would have a game on my top 100 games that was negotiation, but Moonrakers is actually the game that made me, you know, okay with negotiation. It made me realize that negotiation doesn't always mean confrontation. Negotiation in this is very fun. You're basically in the game just saying, hey, I can help you with this mission. If you want me to, I feel like I could put some of these icons towards this mission, and then I would like this payout. So basically you're going for these different missions and you're needing certain icons in order to fulfill these missions. This is like the Titan edition, so it has all of the different expansions, which I've tried, I believe, 2 of the expansions. I've tried the Nomad expansion, and then it's not, I was gonna say Full Throttle. That is definitely not the expansion. I think it's the Overload expansion that I've tried. So I've tried Overload, I've tried Nomad, but I have not tried the Binding Ties expansion yet. But yes, huge thank you to Ivy Games for sending this to me. This was very much so a surprise. I was not expecting this. But yeah, I'm super happy to have it in the collection. Moonrakers has a special place in my heart because it was the game that kind of introduced me to negotiation and made me a little bit more open to negotiation games. So absolutely love it. And I do love the kind of balance between that more very player interactive part of it with the negotiation, but still having those Euro game mechanics that I really know and love. So really love that. That's the same with Brink as well. It kind of has that good balance of the two, which I really enjoy. So yes, that is why Moonrakers is my number 68. So moving into number 67, we're actually moving into a few small box games. It's so funny seeing like the different games that end up in these like chunks of 10, because like I said with my last video in this series, I just have such a wide array of games that I enjoy, from like huge big box heavy games to small little games to relaxing games to like more interactive kind of tense games. It's just so funny seeing like the 10 that end up in these chunks. They're all just so different. But my number 67 is one that I believe I actually picked up myself at PAX Unplugged when I went the end of last year. And I have fallen in love with this game. I do think that this is my highest rated all-play game. I've chatted about this game a ton recently on the channel because I just love it so much. But that game is Mindspace. So Mindspace, like I said, I do believe is my highest rated all-play game right now. So in Mindspace, basically each player has a sheet that is a brain, and you're going to be drawing these different colored polyomino shapes into this brain. Each of the colors represent a different part of the brain, and each of them are going to be scoring in different ways. You also, for like placement rules, you can't have the same color beside one another, different things like that. You're going to be gaining points for each of those colors. You're going to be gaining points for like completing different chunks of the brain. And basically how you're doing this is you have a row of cards that have the different polyomino shapes, and then you're going to be rolling these different colored dice. There's going to be one die for each color, and depending on what number die are rolled, they're going to be placed in front of the coordinating numbered card. So from going left to right, the cards are numbered from 1 to 6, and you're going to be then choosing one of those dice to draw in for each turn. I forget how many turns you get, but it's basically until all of the cards are gone, and you're going to be drawing that card's polyomino shape in the die's color, and then you're going to be building out this brain, like I said, and scoring points in different ways. It is just so relaxing to me. There's also some like public objectives. I've really only played this game solo, and I think it is a fantastic game to just keep, you know, in your coffee table drawer or just in your collection, to just have a really nice, comforting solo game to take out in the evenings. I just absolutely love it. So that is why Mindspace is my number 67. Moving on to number 66. This game has a very special place in my heart because some friends and I have bonded over this game. And if you guys have seen my vlog where I did BoatCon, this is kind of where the inside joke for BoatCon came from. We all absolutely love this game. It is a trick-taking game, and that game is Seas of Strife. So this is, like I said, a trick-taking game. It is illustrated by Beth Sobel, which honestly, this is not like my favorite art of hers. I definitely prefer her art of like more like green nature and animals and stuff like that. But this is all about like ships and eventually like an octopus coming, and there's like thunderstorms and stuff. As the cards get higher, the like worse or like more bad things are happening in the cards, which is kind of cool to see. But this is a very interesting trick-taking game. Trick-taking games are always so hard to explain, but I do think that this might actually be my highest ranked trick-taking game. I freaking love Seas of Strife. Basically, there are like a bunch of different suits. Each suit is going to be kind of a chunk of numbers, and like I said, as they get higher, there's going to be less of that suit. And also the cards are going to be like bad because you are not wanting to win tricks. Basically, the game is going to end once one person has won 15 tricks, I'm pretty sure. And once that happens, the end game is triggered, and then whoever has the least amount of tricks is going to be the winner. So this kind of turns typical trick taking on its head, and you're trying to lose tricks instead of win them. And the other interesting thing about this one is that once everyone has played out a card, which you have to follow suit, just like in any other trick-taking game, you must follow suit if you can. But if someone is unable to follow suit and they play another card, that actually brings that suit into play. So then the following players actually have choice between the suits that have been played. So if a red suit was played, but then the next player could not play a red suit and a gray suit was played, the next player would then be able to play either a red or a gray, and then once everyone at the table has played their cards, whatever suit has the most played is then going to be the only suit that matters. So if there was 2 grays and 3 reds, the red suit would be the only one that mattered, and then whoever played the highest card of that red suit would win the trick, which again is not good. So yeah, Seas of Strife is absolutely fantastic. It is such a fun game, and it's where BoatCon was born. It's where our I'm on a boat was invented. You guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but Steph, Kat, you guys know what I'm talking about. So yes, that is Seas of Strife. Moving into number 65. This is a deduction game that I absolutely love. I don't know if this is my highest ranked deduction game. It might actually be. But this game was actually, back when I did a top 10 games over on my other YouTube channel, this was actually my number 2, and I freaking love this game. Actually, when I ranked that in my top 10, I had only played it multiplayer, and now I've played it solo, and I absolutely love it solo as well. I've just played this quite a bit, so it's dropped a little bit just because it's very samey. It is a deduction game, so you are trying to discover something, and the gameplay is generally pretty similar. It's just the thing that you're trying to discover is different, which is always fun to me. I love a good deduction puzzle, but that is why it is a little bit lower, is because I have played this so many times. But I still absolutely love it. I love the way this game looks. I love the theme of it. This is a space game that I can get behind because it's more so about the like planets and the stars than it is like spaceships and aliens and stuff like that. But the game that I'm talking about in my number 65, that is The Search for Planet X. So like I said, I absolutely love this game. You are trying to deduce where Planet X is in this like circular board of the sky or the galaxy. And the sky is actually cut into like pie pieces, and each of those pie pieces is going to have one item in it, whether that is an asteroid or a comet or a dwarf planet, or what are they called? The clouds. I forget what they're called. But one of them is going to have Planet X, and you are trying to deduce where Planet X is. Such a fantastic game. It has like an app integration to it, which I really enjoy personally. I love when games have app integration. This can be played solo, which I recently started playing it solo, and it's very enjoyable solo as well. You're also like at certain points in the game trying to like guess certain information. If you can guess those pieces of information correctly, you'll get some more victory points at the end. So it's interesting because the person that actually discovers where Planet X is first is not necessarily the person that wins the game, because sometimes there's somebody that guessed a lot of the information correctly before and actually got more points for those than the person did for actually discovering Planet X, which I think is very interesting. So yes, Search for Planet X is my number 65. I also did want to mention, I haven't played this yet, but the Search for Lost Species is in the same series as Search for Planet X. It's designed by the same people, same publisher, Renegade Game Studios, and I'm so excited to play this one. And they are also releasing the Search for UAPs, which is UAP. I think it's like the new word for a UFO. So I'm very excited for that one as well. And I'm so excited to try Search for Lost Species because I love animals and I've heard a lot of great things about the Search for Lost Species. So you guys might possibly, once I play this one, see this one in the top 100. But we will see which one I like better out of these. And also if I can get my hands on the Search for UOPs as well, see what one I prefer out of the three. So that is my number 65, the Search for Planet X. Next up is my number 64. This is another big boy game. I actually found this game with a bunch of expansions at a bring and buy, I think it was like a year or two ago, for a really good price, and I'm so happy that I did because obviously it's my number 64 now and obviously I love it. I do think that this game would actually go up even more if I had more chances to play it. I really want to play this one more. There's also some like more expansions that were up on Kickstarter that are going to be fulfilling soon, so I'm excited to see everyone's opinions on those. But the game that I'm talking about is a pretty big box and a very interesting game. That is Merchant's Cove. So this is such an interesting game because you are playing the same game, but each character or each player is playing as a different character that plays the game in a completely different way. So it's very interesting because each player is a different merchant. So there is the blacksmith, there's the alchemist, there's the oracle. The oracle is like one of the expansions. There's the innkeeper, the dragon keeper, the captain, I think is the one. I haven't played the captain. And there's also there's another one that I haven't played yet. I think it's like the necromancer. The necromancer. I haven't played the necromancer, but I have played all of the other ones. The only two I haven't played are the captain and the necromancer. But each of them, like I said, is playing completely differently, but you're all kind of going for the same goal of selling these different goods to these different people that are coming in on ships. So there's going to be some specific meeple colors that are going to be coming in on ships. There is a way in the game for you to kind of choose which ships go to what dock, and each of the docks are going to want a different size good. So the far left dock is going to want small goods of certain colors depending on the meeples there. The middle is going to want either small or large, and then the far right is going to want large goods, and you're going to be selling those goods, and the way that you're making those goods is in a very different way, and each character is going to have a different mechanism completely when it comes to creating those goods. So the blacksmith is going to be some dice worker placement, which I absolutely love. I think the blacksmith is probably my favorite. And I also really enjoy the oracle because the oracle is a roll and write, which is so fun. I do think that those ones are pretty close. There's also the alchemist, which is a little bit of like marble kind of mechanism, which is cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Potion Explosion. It is very unique in that way. I know that some people don't love this game because there is a lot of like setup for it and learning the different characters and all of that. But once you have people that know the characters and are like open to learning new characters and that sort of thing, It is just so much fun. I also played this at Level Up the first year with Thinker Themer, Amy and Maggie, as well as Carly from Board Game Buzz, and that was like one of the highlights of that convention, and I just loved that game so much. So yes, Merchant's Cove. I do think that if I played this one more, it actually can play solo as well. So you can actually like try all of the different characters solo, which I haven't done yet. But I feel like if I played this more and if I've also played it solo, I think this would probably go up quite a bit from where it is now. So that is Merchant's Cove, my number 64. All right, 3 more to go, and I feel like I've been chatting a little bit more about these games than I typically do, so apologies if this one's a little bit longer than the others. I've been trying to make them all like half an hour, but my number 63 is actually one in a trilogy that I absolutely love from my, I think, favorite publisher. And I think this one might be my least favorite out of the 3, but it's still my number 63. But that game is Scholars of the South Tigris. So this is, like I said, one of the 3 in the South Tigris series by Garphill Games. There is Wayfarers of the South Tigris, Scholars of the South Tigris, as well as Inventors of the South Tigris. I played all 3 of them multiple times and really enjoy all 3 of them. And this, spoiler alert, is the lowest of the 3. So you guys can, assume where the other ones might be. But yes, in Scholars of the South Tigris, you are translating different scripts in order to gain victory points. You are going to be hiring different translators. You're going to be gaining these different scripts that are then going to have some like end game victory points on them or like different goals on them. Once you successfully translate those scripts, you will then get them into your tableau where you're going to score victory points. You're also going to be going up on these different tracks. And there's just a lot going on in this game, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But the really cool thing about this game, and the part that I absolutely love, just in general, the South Tigris series are some of my favorite because they actually implement a lot of like dice manipulation and dice worker placement, which is some of my favorite mechanisms. So in this one, you're actually doing some like color theory and color mixing, which I think is like the coolest thing in a game. There's another game called Vindication that also has that like color mixing and stuff, which I freaking love. So in Scholars, you are going to be doing a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of bag building in a way, because you're going to be putting dice into your bag, then you're going to be drafting random ones out of your bag, rolling those, and then you're going to be able to use those dice as well as these workers that you can get in different ways, in different colors, in order to create different pip numbers as well as colors to do certain actions on the board. So if you put a yellow die, maybe it's like a yellow 2 and a red 5, that would make an orange 7, and then you'd be able to go out and do some sort of action on the board. Wherever you place those dice, it's going to tell you like what action you can do, and you're going to do that action at the 7 strength with the orange color. So it's a very cool way of determining what action you're going to be doing on your turn. And like I said, there's a ton of different things that you're going to be doing in the game, but I absolutely love that mechanism of the color mixing, and that is why Scholars of the South Tigris is my number 63. Number 62 is one that is a classic, and I know so many people love this game, and I honestly cannot tell you why this game is as low as it is. I do think I played this at 5 players one time, and that was like a really unenjoyable gameplay of this, so I definitely recommend if you ever play this game, don't play it at its max player count of 5, because it was not fun to me personally. But I absolutely love playing this game solo, and I really have enjoyed playing this game at 2 players as well as 3 players. But the game that I am talking about, I do have one of the expansions as well, is Parks. So Parks is my number 62. And like I said, I'm not sure why it's this low. I do think that it was in my top 20 of all time when I did the top 20 with Francis. You guys will see it down here where it was. but this is a fantastic, relaxing game of going on this like hike. You're going to be collecting different resources in order to then visit these different parks that are going to need specific resources. It's very much so a resource management game. You're collecting the resources in order to go to the parks, and then the parks are going to give you victory points. You can also take pictures, and I really love the mechanism of it's like a hike. You're going along this path, and you can only go forward on this path, and you can go forward as much as you want. So if there's something specific that you want, you can actually move all the way to that spot, but you can never move back to any of the other spots behind you. So it's this interesting balance of like how far do you want to go and what you want to skip. So that is why I really enjoy Parks. It is such a fantastic game. The art in this game is absolutely beautiful as well. The Nightfall expansion adds a little bit to it, which I really like. It adds some like campsites that you can go to instead of doing another action. It also adds in more park cards, more gear cards. So yeah, that is why number 62 is Parks. All right, and moving into the last game of this video, my number 61. It is another DeVere game, and I love this game. This game is a pretty big game. There's a lot going on in this game, and some people are a little bit scared of this game just because it looks really busy and like there is a ton going on. But once you actually learn the rules to this game, it is not difficult at all, and it's really enjoyable, and I feel like more people need to play this game because it is fantastic and it's absolutely beautiful. But that game is, oh my god, it's so heavy. Bitoku! So Bitoku is my number 61. I will say if the solo mode for this game was a little bit easier to get into, this would probably be a little bit higher for me. The solo mode in this is almost unplayable for me personally because it has just so much that you have to pay attention to when it comes to the AI. There's a little bit of like a procedural list of like, if the AI is here, then do this, but if not, then do this, and then if not that, then do this, and then if not that, then do this. So it's a lot of just like reading what the AI is going to do on their turn, and I personally, for solo modes, prefer solo modes that are a little bit easier, and I don't have to, you know, read so much and pay attention so much to what the AI is going to do. I love solo modes where it's just like a quick, like the AI will do this, done, back to my turn kind of thing. But the multiplayer of Bitoku is absolutely fantastic. It has a little bit of that dice worker placement, which I love. There's a bunch of different ways to get victory points. There are personal goals. And then on top of the gameplay that I really enjoy, the like art in this game and just the aesthetic of this game, I really, really enjoy. So that is why Bitoku is my number 61. I will say that there is also an expansion for this that came out and I never picked it up. So it's something that I might possibly pick up when I am at Gen Con at the DeVere booth. So yeah, that is my number 61, Bitoku. All right, friends, so that is going to be everything for the 4th episode in this series. We're almost halfway done, which I actually can't believe. I will be filming a lot of these tomorrow because I am going on holidays next week, so I'm going to have to prepare a few of these videos to make sure that you guys get them. I've been trying to stick to doing Wednesday and Saturday. This one that you guys are watching right now might possibly have to be pushed until Thursday morning. We will see. Depends on how fast I can edit this, but hopefully you guys have been enjoying. Hopefully you've been enjoying the series so far. Thank you all so much for hanging out and watching it. I appreciate it. I've been having so much fun chatting about all the games that I love. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Again, comment down below what you think of all the games that I chatted about today. Are some of these your favorites? Please let me know your number 70 to 61 down in the comments if you've been doing that so far. Been love seeing all of your games in your top 100 as I go through mine. So yeah, definitely do that down below if you have those. But yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.